Hey guys, thank you for watching. This is Worm. I'm going to be checking out this game. It is by Benaged. It is called Beginning Hour. I've never played a text horror adventure, but I've watched the RE7 teaser demo. So, let's see. My location is exposed. Now you guys know where I live. Thank you, random thing on my computer, for telling everyone that. That's awesome. Not all paths are complete, so let's see how this goes. I have a feeling there's no music. You wake up on a hard wooden floor. Your head is pounding. As your eyes begin to focus, a cockroach scuttles across the floorboards into the darkness. RE7 or PT? You need to get up. Your body aches as you push yourself onto your feet. You're in a dimly lit room and a musty smell hangs in the air. Your eyes begin to adjust themselves to the darkness. Get out of the house is not a thing I can click on. It looks like maybe that's an idea that I can do, but maybe later. Examine surroundings. You hear the rattle of the door handle, followed by the sound of a slam somewhere in the house. You're standing in a living room. The faded wallpaper is worn and ripped off in places, exposing the bare wall. The floor is covered in little piles of cigarette ash. In the middle of the room is a small coffee table surrounded by brown leather chairs. Next to the chairs is a brick fireplace. In one corner of the room, there's a dusty, upright piano. In the other corner, an old TV showing static. You can see on one wall there's a fuse box with a few glowing lights. I'm going to look at the fireplace. A dark stained wooden mantelpiece surrounds the fireplace with two tarnished candlesticks proudly standing either side. The fireplace itself is empty and appears to have been swept quite recently. On the chimney breast above the mantelpiece is a framed black and white photograph. A father, mother, and two children sitting together on a leather sofa. They're smiling. Check something else. I'm going to look at the table. The coffee table is sitting on top of a threadbare rug and is surrounded by brown leather chairs. There are some coffee cups scattered across the watermarked surface, which look as though they haven't been touched in years. There's a scrap of paper under one of the cups. Examine the scrap of paper. The piece of paper is torn and crumpled. There's something written on it. I shall dash them against the stones. Check something else. So this doesn't look like it's inspired by or based on. This looks like a direct carbon copy of RE7. Cause I remember that note. I'm going to look at the TV. The old cathode ray TV blares out white noise as the screen displays static. It bathes the rest of the room in a cold light. A VCR is connected to the TV. The reason I was checking the fireplace first was to see if I could get into this hidden area that's behind it. That's in RE7. The piano is coated in a thick layer of dust, but seems to be in good condition. Looks a little out of place in this dilapidated room. I am not going to play the keyboard if I'm hearing people around in the house. That's just a bad idea. The metal fuse box door was open, showing 4 relays with a small glowing light above each one. 3 of the relays have fuses, which are labeled 1F, 2F, and 3F. The lights above them are green. The relay which is missing a fuse is labeled stairs, and the light above it is red. Okay, I'm going to open the door then. You're in a hallway in the middle of the house. At one end of the hall is the door to the living room. Next to it is another door covered in black mold. It looks slick and wet. Oh my god, shut up! Halfway down the hall is a small alcove underneath a staircase leading up to the second floor. The stairs are lined with some old oil paintings. At the foot of the stairs is a rickety chest of drawers. At the end of the hallway, light pours in through an opening into the kitchen. Opposite the kitchen is a pile of junk and discarded furniture, which has been stacked haphazardly. I'm gonna go up the stairs. There's an L-shaped room on the second floor with wood-paneled walls. In the far corner is a couple of mannequins next to some crates. Around the corner is a table lit by a small table lamp. Attached to a vertical wooden beam is some kind of electrical junction box with a button on it. A staircase leads down to the middle hallway. I'm going to examine the mannequins. There are 3 female mannequins near the center of the room among some old boxes. They are tall, with legs and heads but no arms. Their white bodies are scratched and stained with age. The mannequins are all facing each other in a circle. A small table at the end of the L-shaped room is illuminated by a table lamp with a lopsided lampshade. A pair of headphones lay in the middle of the table. They look inexpensive, but new and unused. A metal box is screwed to a vertical beam, with a wire running out the top towards the ceiling. The box has a plastic red button and is labeled stairs. There's a light above the label that flashes red every 2 seconds. I'm going to push the button even though I know it doesn't work. Yeah, I think this is a really cool concept for practice, but yeah, this is someone else's game. The gloomy alcove under the stairs has a set of bare shelves opposite a boarded up door. Hanging from the ceiling are 6 straw dolls. I'm going to look at the straw dolls. Hanging from the ceiling from coarse string are 6 figures made from woven straw or dried reeds. Each doll is no bigger than 8 inches and hang just above your head. Some are suspended by their necks, others have string tied around their torso, and some are held up by an arm or a leg. You hear a loud crash, like furniture being knocked over in another room. You feel your heart beat faster. The door is directly beneath the stairs, but has been boarded up with thick, heavy nails. It looks like the planks were nailed to the door in a hurry, and are placed irregularly across the doorway. Go back to the hallway. See, now I feel like I should be worried because something heard me looking at that. But it's not time-based. It's not based off of anything that I'm doing. It's just based off of I clicked on that one thing. And now that doesn't actually affect this page because this is the past. So, it doesn't quite work out. The chest of drawers looks as though it's barely holding together, and its pale green paint is peeling along all the edges. Some drawers are missing their knobs, and others come apart as you pull them out. There's nothing of interest inside except for what looks like a model finger. Pick up the finger. I took the finger. It was interesting because it didn't say that any of the mannequins were missing a finger. Go to the living room. Oh, that's where I started. I've got a celluloid finger now. Go to the hallway. Go to the kitchen. Light leaks into the kitchen through shuttered windows. The air smells like rotting meat, and there's trash covering every surface. There are a few plates set out on the kitchen table with the unrecognizable decomposed remains of what used to be food. Along the wall with the windows is a fridge splattered with God knows what, as well as a few kitchen units with a stove and a microwave. On the opposite wall is a large dresser and a cupboard. A large opening leads towards the hallway with the stairs to the second floor. At the other side of the kitchen is the entrance to a lobby area. The once white refrigerator is now smeared with brown grime and congealed liquids. The fridge doesn't seem to be on. I'm going to open the fridge because that seems smart. You hear the creaks of floorboards from another room. Okay, are they going to find me in here? No, because I didn't do anything. I just clicked a button. The smell immediately forces you to take a step back as you crack open the fridge. The stench is indescribable. Most of the fridge trays and shelves are covered in a brown liquid. There are soggy cardboard boxes and old food packaging on a couple of the shelves. On the top shelves are several filled plastic bags which are dripping. See, like, if this part changed, then I would have a reason to be worried. The stove has 4 gas rings. On top of one is a large steel cooking pot. Some of the metal parts are rusted, and most of the knobs to control the heat are missing. Inside the oven is a tied-up trash bag with a bad smell. I can lift the lid on the pot, but I can't check out what's in the trash bag. Okay. Lift the lid to the pot until the cockroaches scurry out and drop down the sides. You nearly drop the lid when you realize one of them is crawling across your wrist before quickly brushing the roach away. Yeah, that happens in RE7. The inside of the pot is filled with an undistinguishable brown and black stew. Just looking at it makes your stomach churn. The microwave is quite an old-fashioned model and has seen better days. The window set into the door is opaque due to a covering of black residue. Open the microwave. You pop open the microwave door to find the body of a crow. Someone has tried to cook the poor creature. Its flesh has boiled from the inside. Its beak is agape with an eternal silent scream. Check the dresser. Why is there a dresser in the kitchen? The imposing kitchen dresser reaches from floor to ceiling, yet appears to be quite bare. Some of the cupboard doors are hanging limply on their hinges, and most of the shelves and drawers are empty. There is one drawer you are unable to open with a small lock next to the knob. Is this supposed to be a china cabinet? Open the drawer. It's locked. Check the cupboard. The handles of the cupboard are fastened closed with a thick chain and a heavy padlock. You firmly tug on the lock to check whether the aging cupboard could be forced open, but it seems pretty sturdy. Go to the lobby. A small lobby adjoins the kitchen. On the floor beneath a cloud of buzzing flies are several large rotting carcasses. I'm pretty sure I would have smelled that from anywhere else in the house. Dried blood is splattered across the floor and up the walls. Light pours in through frosted glass set into the door. This looks like it could be the front door of the house. Examine the carcasses. It's unclear whether the carcasses are cows or horses, but they're definitely ungulates. The limbs and heads have been hacked off the bodies. I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference from their body types. One of the corpses has been split from neck to rump, exposing a skeleton, internal organs, in grisly detail. It makes you want to retch. There's a pair of metal handles sticking out one end of the carcasses. Pull the object from the carcass. You yank the object embedded in the carcass's side. It's a set of bolt cutters. Check something else. Go to the kitchen. Go to the cupboard. Break the lock with the bolt cutters. Yeah! I did something in one of these games. I've seen these games around. I've never played one before, and I'm just like, I know I'll never actually get anywhere with those, because I can't even do point-and-click games. Alright, the chain plate breaks easily between the jaws of the bolt cutter, and it clatters to the floor. Like an idiot, I just made all this noise. Against my will. Inside are some cleaning supplies and other household items. You can't help but find it ironic to find cleaning products in this shithole. On a lower shelf is this videotape, which seems out of place among the rest of the cupboard contents. Take the videotape. You take the videotape. Check something else. Go to the lobby? No, that's not right. Yeah, I'm pushing the wrong buttons now. I'm pushing the wrong buttons a lot. Go to the living room. Look at the TV. Play the videotape. Darley's house, June 1. Yep. Dolby Haunted House rehearsal, surrogators do not copy. Camera Clancy Javis. After a few seconds, the screen goes black and you hear a slight crackle of static. Continue watching so that I can make a lot of noise and have the people in this house know I'm here. Boo! A man's face suddenly fills the screen before moving away from the camera, sniggering. He's wearing a white shirt and a jacket. Where did you find this guy? He's addressing another man in a t-shirt while gesturing back at the camera. It's dark, but you can see the porch light from an old house behind them. Give me a break, Pete, says the other man, while he adjusts the microphone on the first man's jacket. I don't know why it's telling me continue watching, because I don't have a choice. I don't have stop watching. I don't have, hey, you hear a noise in the house. You might want to stop watching and hide somewhere. Hey, I only work with professionals. Peter says, speaking of which, make sure the sound is right this time, Andre. I don't want a repeat of Amarillo. Andre puts his hands up in indignation. That was 2 fucking years ago. I don't do ADR. Pete has already started striding towards the house. Andre beckons to the camera to follow before walking after Pete towards the house. I'm trying to remember the voices from the actual game. I don't think this is correct. I don't think you can do this with copyright infringement laws, unfortunately. The camera follows the pair as they walk towards the porch of the old house. Pete starts talking as if he can't be heard by the microphone on his lapel. This new guy? I'm not feeling it. Again, Andre catches up to Pete. Just don't be surprised if we have to make a change. Pete steps onto the porch and turns back to Andre. New plan. We do a walkthrough of the inside first, then we shoot the intro. Andre shrugs. Just like we always do. Just try to say the show's name this time, okay? No problem. Pete holds the flashlight up to his face like a teenager telling a ghost story. Tonight on Surrogators, another worthless fucking shithole. Happy? Ecstatic. Pete and Andre move across the porch to the door of the house. Moths flit around a bare light bulb. Pete stands in front of the door, readies himself, and looks towards the camera. Are we rolling? Alright, let's go. Pete turns the knob, but it doesn't move. He struggles and heaves the door to no avail. Get out of the way. Andre pushes Pete to one side and tries to door himself. It's locked. It's locked. Pete mumbles before Andre kicks the door. It swings open with a crack. Without missing a beat, Pete breezes past Andre through the opening. You're welcome, Andre announces incredulously, shaking his head before following Pete inside. The camera follows them both into the darkness. You instantly recognize the inside of the house. Pete and Andre are walking through the lobby towards the kitchen. The house is just as dilapidated as it is now, but it seems like there's less trash and junk scattered around. Pete shines his flashlight down the corridor. So, why are we in hell this time? Do you ever prep? Smirks Andre. What's the prep? Shitty house, spooky sounds. Oh, is it haunted? Pete shines his flashlight at a stain on the ceiling. Fuck me, I was an anchor, you know. We can sub, Pete, not anchor. Andre corrects him. Pete turns back to Andre. There's anger behind his eyes. What's that? He snaps at him. Nothing. Andre mumbles. What happens next? I don't have any control over that. Why are you asking me? Oh, right, because at this point of the game, you're playing as the new camera guy. You're playing as Clancy. They walk into the kitchen. It looks much darker without the sunlight behind the shuttered windows. What's the story, Andre? Pete asks. Abandoned farmhouse, missing family, foul play suspected, the usual. Andre drifts through the kitchen while Pete walks to the kitchen table. How long did you say this place has been abandoned? Oh, wow. They did not put really good vocal tags on who's saying what. Dialogue tags. How long did you say this place had been abandoned? Andre answers, 3 years. Pete points to a large cooking pot on the kitchen table and looks back at the camera. Hey, Clancy, get a shot of this. This make a great cutaway. The camera goes to the cooking pot, obviously. The camera goes to the table where a large cooking pot is sitting. The cameraman's hand comes into view, which lifts the lid of the pot. Several cockroaches scurry out and up and down the sides. So it's the exact same cutscene that we had before. So, Hillbilly Joe and his family go missing. Not hillbillies, the Bakers. Jack and Marguerite Baker. And they were quiet, not backward. A lot of bad rumors about their son Lucas. Bad seed, apparently. Trying to remember how that game actually goes. I'm going to say dresser. The camera pans towards the kitchen dresser, which reaches from floor to ceiling, yet appears to be quite bare. Some of the cupboard doors are hanging limply on their hinges, and most of the shelves and drawers are empty. The cameraman's hand tries one of the drawers, but they're unable to open it. Pete knocks over a pile of empty cans, and garbage spills everywhere. Ah, shit! I knew I shouldn't have worn my good shoes! He backs up away from the trash. Shit, glad I got my shots. Pete shines his flashlight over the peeling paint of one of the kitchen walls. Although this make a great backdrop. Andre, what do you think? Andre? The camera swings to the empty opening where the kitchen meets the hallway. Andre! Andre! Pete calls. There's no answer. Pete strides towards the hallway and the camera follows behind him. Clancy, you see where Andre went? Pete shines his flashlight up the stairs and down the hallway. Where is he? Unfucking believable. This is the last time I work with that guy. Pete starts to creep down the hallway. The light from his flashlight barely makes a difference to the looming darkness in front of him. I mean, producers, they come and go. But good cameramen like you, Clancy, you stick with me. He edges towards the closed door to the living room. Pete reaches for the door handle of the living room, but just as he's about to touch it, there's a loud crash. Pete's hand recoils. What the fuck was that? Did you hear that? He reaches for the door again. It's quiet now. He grabs the knob and slowly pushes the door open. Andre, where the fuck is he? Pete sweeps his flashlight across the room. It's the same room you're standing in, but darker and empty. The black TV screen in the corner gleams as the flashlight passes over it. Pete calls out again as he begins to wander into that room. Andre, where are you, man? Pete looks over to the living room fireplace and crouches to look at it until something catches his eye. What the hell? He reaches into the fireplace towards the top right corner and pulls on something. There's a metallic clunk of a mechanism moving behind a wall. A wooden panel on the lower half of a nearby wall pops open. Pete looks at the camera. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, new deal. We find Andre and we go. I mean, fuck this show. Pete ducks down and goes through the opening and the camera follows behind. On the other side of the wall is a tight passage. Pete stands up again and walks to the end of the passage. There's a trap door opening in the floor with a ladder going down. It's too dark to see the bottom. You first. Need a nice hero shot of me coming down the ladder. So, yeah, you first. Pete's voice is unsteady. The camera moves awkwardly as the cameraman moves into position to go down the ladder. The camera descends into the darkness. Pete calls down the ladder. What do you see? What is it? The camera turns around to the dark brick basement. Andre is standing on the other side of the basement facing the wall. He's dead. He's so close to the wall, his nose must be touching the brickwork. The cameraman's hand comes into frame and clutches Andre's shoulder. His body twists around it limply as Andre's head pulls away from the broken pipe jutting out of the wall. The cameraman screams as Andre's body falls on top of him. The camera falls to the floor. Andre's body is lying across the cameraman's torso, his head tilted back towards the camera. Blood streams from his mouth and eyes down his upside-down face into his hair. The screen starts to prickle with static and the face gets distorted. Through the static, just before the distortion breaks up the picture completely, you see a pair of crusty old boots walking towards the two sprawled bodies. The screen cuts to black, and you hear the VCR click and eject the tape. The old cathode ray TV has a blank blue display. Pause flashes in white every few seconds. It bathes the rest of the room in a cold light. A VCR is connected to the TV. There's scrap paper. Yeah. Okay, so we've done that. Check something else. Check the fireplace. One of the problems that I had with the Resident Evil trailer or demo was the fact that once you did one of them and then you went to the next, you already knew stuff, and like it kind of spoiled it, and it didn't work really if you hadn't played it before. But it was really cool to be able to go, oh wait, before this happened, so now I know that I can go to the fireplace, and now there's this thing right here, and boop, 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 boop. So that was a really cool concept. But I think parts of it felt a little... It didn't work in every aspect, I'm going to say. You reach your hand inside the fireplace towards the top right corner behind the mantelpiece. Your hand finds a wooden handle connected to some rusted metal. You pull the handle down, and there's a dull metallic clunk of a mechanism moving behind the wall. I think that's copy and pasted. Crawl through the opening. I'm going to find Clancy's dead body. No, I'm not. The passage behind the wall of the living room is a narrow corridor around 12 feet long. Copper pipes and wiring run along the bare wooden walls. At one end, nearest the passage entrance, is a small table. At the other is a trapdoor opening. The floor of the passage is strewn with broken pieces of wood, torn clothing, and other detritus. Check the table. A small side table in the corner of the passage opposite the opening to the living room. The table is empty. Like, this is one of those things, because if you play it a second time, like after it updated, the table had the fuse on it. You hear the rattle of a door handle, followed by the sound of a slam somewhere in the house. The passage behind the wall of the living room is a narrow corridor around 12 feet. Copper pipes and wiring run along the bare wooden walls. At one end, nearest the passage entrance, is a small table. Blah, 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 blah. I already read that. Check out the trapdoor. At the end of the passage is a square trapdoor opening. You peer over the lip of the yawning cavity, but it's too dark to see the bottom. The ladder is missing, and it would be too dangerous to try to drop down the hole without knowing how deep it is. There's a silver key resting on the edge of the opening. Pick up the key. Check something else. Crawl back into the living room. As you crawl back into the living room, you notice the door to the hallway slightly ajar. You freezely see a man with a shaggy beard and a dirty shirt slowly walk past the doorway in the hall. He walks as if he's in a trance. It seems he hasn't noticed you. I'm gonna go to the hallway. Okay, so nothing here has changed, even though that guy is in it. I'm gonna go to the kitchen. Nothing here has changed. Gotta go to the dresser. Unlock the drawer with a silver key. The key is too big. Darn, I actually thought I had gotten that. Go to the lobby. Open the front door. Open the door with the silver key. You turn the silver key in the lock and you gently push the door open. As it swings outside, you feel the warm sun touch your body. Take a step outside and taste fresh air. Leave the house. You feel a cold hand grip your arm tightly and yank your body around. Standing in the doorway is a man with a shaggy beard and a dirty shirt. His skin looks aged and ashen, but it feels like you could snap your arm without effort. Welcome to the family, son, he snarls. His fist slams you into the temple. The world turns black. The thing is, though, I know that there isn't more to uncover at this point. Partially because it is from the game, and because it says in the beginning, oh yeah, it was not completed yet, not all the options are available, which means they're going to update it and they're going to put in the actual secondary demo information, most likely. Very accurate, so that's good. The writing is really good. I only noticed like one typo. I'm not sure if that item was a dresser. I think that was a china cabinet, but other than that, it was very accurate to the game, which I think is actually going to be a problem for you. As long as you keep this as a free game, it should be okay, but if you try to make any kind of money off of it, you're going to deal with copyright infringement. So be really careful with that. I believe that at least back when I went to college, which was a very long time ago, it was, you had to change 10% in order for it to not be copyright infringement. So be super careful with that. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a great day. Adios.